No, we can't make that.
He's not riding away again?
He's not riding away again. No, he's not riding back in.
After ruling the charts for decades and performing before countless sold-out crowds, country legend George Strait is now facing one of the toughest moments of his life. His beloved wife, Norma, who has stood beside him for over 50 years, has recently received a devastating diagnosis. Now, the man known for his strength, humility, and timeless voice is preparing to say goodbye, not just to the stage, but to everything that once defined his world. What happened to George Strait, and how is he coping with this heartbreaking reality? Stay tuned as we uncover the deeply emotional truth behind his final decision. A young cowboy finds his calling.
All my fans, y'all are great. My band.
George Harvey Strait Sr. was born on May 18, 1952, in the small town of Poteet, Texas, to John Byron Strait and Doris Jean Cooser. He grew up in Pearsall, a quiet community in Frio County, where his father taught junior high mathematics and managed a large cattle ranch outside Big Wells. Weekends and summer days were spent under the wide Texas sky, tending to the land and livestock. When George reached the 4th grade, life took a difficult turn. His parents divorced, and his mother left with his sister Pensy, while George and his older brother, John Buddy Jr., stayed with their father. The two boys quickly learned the ropes of ranch life, riding horses, fixing fences, and caring for cattle. That early upbringing planted in George a deep love for rural living and a work ethic that would define his entire life. At Pearsall High School, Strait began to find his voice in music. He joined a local rock and roll garage band known as the Stoics, drawing inspiration from British invasion groups like the Beatles. Like many teenagers in the late 60s, he was captivated by their sound and style. George played with a few other rock bands as well, experimenting with rhythm and melody, always chasing the thrill of performing. But with time, his musical taste began to drift toward country music. Legends such as Hank Thompson, Lefty Frizzell, Merle Haggard, George Jones, Bob Wills, and Hank Williams began shaping his sound. Interestingly, despite his growing passion, he rarely listened to country radio as a teenager. He preferred news and agricultural updates instead. His connection to country music came mostly through live performances, a cherished part of small-town Texas life. After graduating high school, Strait married his longtime sweetheart, Norma Voss. The two eloped to Mexico and tied the knot on December 4, 1971. That same year, George enlisted in the United States Army as an infantryman and was stationed at Schofield Barracks near Wahiawa, Hawaii, as part of the 25th Infantry Division. It was during his service that music began to truly take hold of his life. George auditioned for an Army-sponsored country band called Rambling Country, which also played off-base shows under the name Santee. On October 6, 1972, while still stationed in Hawaii, George and Norma welcomed their first child, Jennifer. He served until 1975, leaving the Army with the rank of corporal and an honorable discharge. Though military life gave him discipline and structure, his heart now belonged to music. Determined to follow that path, he returned home to Texas and enrolled at Southwest Texas State University in San Marcos to study agriculture. Years later, in 2006, the same university honored him with a doctorate degree in a private ceremony. Strait maintained a lifelong bond with his alma mater. In 1985, he even created an endowment fund to promote agricultural and wildlife research at the Freeman Ranch and helped fund scholarships for future students in agriculture and land management. While in college, his passion for performing refused to fade. One day, George spotted a flyer from a local country band named Stony Ridge, which was looking for a new lead vocalist. He auditioned and got the job. Soon after, he renamed the group Ace in the Hole Band, giving it a new identity and purpose. Under his leadership, the band started performing in honky-tonks and bars across Central and South Texas, slowly building a loyal fan base. Their reputation grew fast, and soon they were opening shows for established acts like the Texas Playboys and Asleep at the Wheel. They recorded several tracks with Houston's D Records, including That Don't Change the Way I Feel About You and I Can't Go On Dying Like This. Although those early songs didn't gain much traction, Strait never gave up. To make ends meet, he continued working on his family's cattle ranch while performing at night. It was during one of these gigs that he met Irv Woolsey, a club owner and former MCA Records executive. Woolsey saw something special in George and invited music executives from Nashville to watch him perform. The industry insiders admired his talent, but his Western swing style didn't fit the commercial trends of the late 70s. One by one, labels turned him down. Strait kept traveling to Nashville, hoping for a break, but every trip ended the same way, with rejection. Disheartened, he began thinking seriously about quitting music altogether. He even received a job offer designing cattle pens and was ready to take it. George told his bandmates that he might walk away for good, but Norma, ever his biggest supporter, urged him to give it just one more year before making that final choice. Her faith in him reignited his determination. That persistence soon paid off. In February 1981, MCA Records finally offered Strait a contract, initially for just one song. If it succeeded, they'd consider a full album. And as history would show, that one song would be the spark that launched one of the greatest country careers of all time. Even after his solo career took off, George remained loyal to the ace in the whole band, keeping them as his touring group. It was his way of honoring the musicians who had been with him since the very beginning, a testament to his loyalty, humility, and heart. Rising to country stardom. George Strait's rise in country music began in 1981 with the release of his debut single, Unwound. The song raced up the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart, peaking at number 6 and marking the beginning of something big. That early success paved the way for his first album, Strait Country, a record that introduced his clean, traditional sound to the world. The album also featured Down and Out, a hit that helped establish Strait's name among Nashville's best newcomers. In 1982, his second album, Straight from the Heart, took his career even higher. It produced his very first #1 hit, Fool-Hearted Memory, and the timeless Western ballad, Amarillo by Morning, which would go on to become one of his signature songs. His growing fame led to a major milestone the next year when he performed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for the first time, stepping in for Eddie Rabbitt, who had fallen ill. Throughout the 1980s, Strait ruled the country charts. Albums like Right or Wrong and Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind both hit #1. By 1985, he had already won the CMA Award for Top Male Vocalist and released his first Greatest Hits collection. That same year, his album, Something Special, became his third consecutive #1, with classics like The Chair, showcasing his signature smooth, effortless delivery. The following year, Strait earned another CMA win and released #7, continuing his chart-topping streak. Between 1986 and 1989, he delivered 11 straight #1 singles, including favorites like Nobody in His Right Mind Would Have Left Her and Ace in the Hole. Albums such as Oceanfront Property, If You Ain't Lovin' You Ain't Livin', and Beyond the Blue Neon all climbed to the top of the charts. A major breakthrough came when Oceanfront Property became the first country album ever to debut at #1. With that, Strait's name became synonymous with success. In 1989 and 1990, he was crowned CMA Entertainer of the Year for 2 consecutive years. The early 1990s saw no slowdown. His album, Livin' It Up, included the heartfelt Love Without End, Amen, which became his first #1 song to stay at the top for multiple weeks. The next album, Chill of an Early Fall, released in 1991, introduced subtle changes in his sound while producing hits like If I Know Me and You Know Me Better Than That. However, his cover of Lovesick Blues ended his remarkable streak of top 10 singles. In 1992, he came back with Holding My Own. Though it didn't reach #1, it still delivered strong singles. That same year, Strait took a bold step into acting, starring in pure country. While the film itself received mixed reviews, its soundtrack became his best-selling studio album, powered by hits like Heartland and I Cross My Heart. Strait's winning momentum continued with the release of Easy Come, Easy Go in 1993, which climbed into the Billboard 200's top 5. Over the next several years, he released a string of hit albums: Lead On, Blue Clear Sky, Carrying Your Love With Me, and One Step at a Time. Each one reached the top of the country charts. Blue Clear Sky debuted at number 1, while Carrying Your Love With Me became his first album to top the overall Billboard 200. During this golden period, Strait delivered an unstoppable series of hits: You Can't Make a Heart Love Somebody, Carried Away, and One Night at a Time, among them. In 1995, he released Straight Out of the Box, a massive 4-disc career retrospective that became one of the best-selling box sets in history, moving over 8 million copies. It featured 2 new tracks, including the fan favorite Check Yes or No. His reign at the top continued with back-to-back CMA Top Male Vocalist Awards in 1997 and 1998. That same year, Strait launched the George Strait Country Music Festival, bringing together country powerhouses like Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Kenny Chesney, and Alan Jackson. The tour ran until 2001, keeping its stops limited to maintain exclusivity, yet it still ranked as the 9th highest-grossing tour of 1998. As the decade drew to a close, Strait released Always Never the Same in 1999. While it peaked at number 2 on the country chart, it achieved crossover success by reaching number 6 on the Billboard 200. The album featured fan favorites like What Do You Say to That and Write This Down, both of which performed strongly. Critics had mixed feelings about the project, but even they agreed. George Strait's calm, steady delivery had a way of turning even a simple lyric into something unforgettable. By the end of the 1990s, George Strait had amassed 17 number 1 hits on the Billboard country charts. His legacy as one of the most consistent and influential country artists of all time was firmly in place. As he stepped into the new millennium, there was no question. George Strait wasn't just a star, he was already a living legend whose music would guide the next generation of country performers. The making of a timeless legend. As the new millennium began, George Strait's legendary career continued evolving, filled with triumphs, experiments, and record-breaking moments. His self-titled album in 2000 marked a strong start to the decade. Though it performed well on the charts, it became his first album not to produce a number 1 single. Still, songs like Go On and If You Can Do Anything Else both reached the top 5, proving that Strait's magic was far from fading. The album didn't hit platinum, but it reminded fans of his consistency and grace. He bounced back quickly with The Road Less Traveled in 2001, a project praised by critics for its subtle experimentation. While it maintained the classic Strait sound fans loved, it added small, refreshing twists in production and vocal layering. The result was an album that felt both familiar and new. It produced 3 singles, 2 of which, She'll Leave You With a Smile and Living and Living Well, soared to number 1. Both also entered the Billboard Hot 100, with the former peaking at number 23, his highest charting pop crossover. The song Run came close behind, reaching number 2 on the country charts and number 34 on Billboard's mainstream list. 2003 turned out to be a monumental year. Strait released For the Last Time Live from the Astrodome, a historic live album recorded at the final Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo held in the old Astrodome. His performance shattered attendance records, drawing over 68,000 fans. Later that year, he dropped Honky Tonkville. Though it didn't yield a number 1 hit, it reaffirmed his unmatched presence and staying power in the genre. The following year, 2004, Strait once again made history, breaking his own attendance record at the Houston Rodeo with 1,679 fans in a single show. Around the same time, he released 50 number 1s, a greatest hits compilation spanning his career from Foolhardy Memory to She'll Leave You with a Smile. A brand new song added to the collection, I Hate Everything, became his 51st #1 single, proving that Strait's golden touch hadn't dimmed a bit. In 2005, he continued his momentum with Somewhere Down in Texas. The album featured You'll Be There, which became Strait's first song to enter the adult contemporary charts. Despite performing only 18 shows that year, he grossed more than $15 million, a testament to his loyal fan base and timeless appeal. Strait credited his success to his dedicated band, his deep catalog of songs, and his ability to recreate the same perfection on stage that he achieved in the studio. The next year, 2006, marked a major milestone, 30 years in the music industry. Strait celebrated the occasion with It Just Comes Natural, recorded in Key West, Florida. The album featured 15 new tracks, many co-written by longtime collaborator Dean Dillon. The lead single, Give It Away, shot straight to #1, making co-writer Bill Anderson the first songwriter to achieve a #1 hit in 5 different decades. The title track also reached #1, continuing Strait's unstoppable run. By 2007, he had yet another milestone to celebrate when Wrapped became his 55th #1 song on the Media Base Country chart. That same year, he launched a 23-date arena tour joined by legends like Ronnie Milsap and rising star Taylor Swift. A year later, in 2008, Strait released Troubadour. The album included 12 tracks and featured collaborations with Patti Loveless and Dean Dillon. Its lead single, I Saw God Today, debuted at #19, marking the highest debut of Strait's career and the 4th highest in country music history. The album itself opened at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling over 160,000 copies in its first week. Another single from the record, River of Love, went on to become his 57th #1 hit in 2009. That same year brought another defining moment. Strait received the Academy of Country Music's Artist of the Decade Award, presented by Garth Brooks. He also performed at the inaugural event at the Dallas Cowboys' new stadium in Arlington, Texas. In August, he released Twang, led by the single Living for the Night. The song held special meaning, as Strait co-wrote it with his son Bubba and Dean Dillon. The album later went gold, surpassing 500,000 sales. By this time, Strait had surpassed Conway Twitty's record for the most #1 singles in Billboard's Hot Country Songs history, earning his 44th #1 hit. In 2010, Billboard named him the #1 country artist of the past 25 years, further cementing his legendary status. The success train rolled on. In 2011, Strait released Here for a Good Time, producing 2 #1 singles, its title track and Love's Gonna Make It All Right. These brought his total to 59 #1 hits. The third single, Drinkin' Man, didn't perform as strongly, peaking at #37. But by then, Strait's place in history was beyond secure. In 2012, he released Give It All We Got Tonight, the lead single for his album Love Is Everything. His label launched a campaign called 60 for 60, urging fans to help him earn his 60th #1 before his 61st birthday. It worked. The song topped the Media Base chart in May 2013, giving Strait that historic 60th hit. The album's second single, I Believe, charted lower, reaching #50 on the country airplay chart, but his influence remained untouched. That same year, Strait was crowned CMA Entertainer of the Year, once again proving his lasting power. In November, Billboard honored him with its Legend of Live Award, making him the first country artist ever to receive that title. In April 2015, Strait returned to the spotlight at the ACM Awards, performing his classic All My Exes live in Texas, alongside his new single, Let It Go. His participation in country music's biggest moments continued into 2016, when he joined the Forever Country Project, a star-studded collaboration celebrating 50 years of the CMA Awards, blending 3 iconic songs into one unforgettable performance. Even in later years, Strait showed no signs of slowing down. In 2018, he released Código, inspired by the tequila brand he had invested in. While it hinted at a shift toward business ventures, his deep roots in country music never wavered. Through decades of changing trends and new generations of artists, George Strait remained exactly what fans always saw him as: a timeless legend who never lost touch with his sound, his values, or his fans. Love, loss, and legacy. Throughout the decades, George Strait has stayed deeply devoted to his lifelong love, Norma. Their bond has endured the tests of time, with Norma offering steadfast support in both his personal life and musical journey. Though George has always been private about family matters, he occasionally shares glimpses of their affection on social media. In 2020, fans were treated to a rare moment when George posted a heartfelt Valentine's Day message on Instagram, sharing a photo with Norma and expressing his gratitude for her unwavering love. She's often seen quietly standing by his side at major events, including the 1989 CMA Awards, when George proudly took home the prestigious Entertainer of the Year title. While Norma prefers to remain out of the spotlight, she made a brief but memorable appearance in 2019 in George's music video for Código. Filmed in Mexico, the video captured Norma dancing joyfully with friends beside her husband. It was a touching display of their chemistry, celebrating both music and love, a reminder of how integral she's been to George's story, both on and off the stage. Their journey has taken them to remarkable places, even the White House. In 2021, George shared a throwback photo on President's Day featuring him and Norma meeting former President George H.W. Bush. The image reflected how far his career had taken him, from humble beginnings to meeting world leaders. That December, the couple celebrated an extraordinary milestone: 50 years of marriage. During a concert in Las Vegas, George serenaded Norma with "I Cross My Heart," leaving the audience in awe. He reminisced about their teenage romance and how they'd eloped to Mexico to begin a life together. It was an emotional moment that spoke volumes about their lasting bond, a love story as timeless as his music. Their family life began with the birth of their daughter, Jennifer, on October 6, 1972. Nearly 10 years later, their son, George Harvey Strait Jr., lovingly known as Bubba, was born in 1981. The Strait household was filled with laughter, love, and dreams, until tragedy struck in 1986. On June 25th, their daughter Jennifer was killed in a car accident in San Marcos at just 13 years old. The loss was devastating. To honor her memory, George and Norma founded the Jennifer Lynn Strait Foundation, which supports children's charities across San Antonio. Through this foundation, they turned unimaginable grief into a source of hope and compassion for others. As Bubba grew, he found his own passions outside of music. He attended Texas A&M University and became a skilled team roper, competing professionally in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. In 2006, George proudly watched from the stands as Bubba competed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, before stepping onto that same stage to perform later that night. Life wasn't without more heartache. On April 10, 2009, George's older brother, John Byron "Buddy" Strait, passed away at 58. It was another painful reminder of life's fragility, but George found comfort in his family's love and resilience. Norma remained the constant through it all, his anchor, his strength. When George toured, she stayed home to raise Bubba, ensuring stability and warmth filled their household. Once Bubba finished high school and headed to college, she joined George again on the road, standing beside him through every tour and triumph. In February 2012, joy returned to their lives when Bubba and his wife Tamara welcomed their first child, George Harvey Strait III. Becoming a grandfather brought George immense happiness, new chance to share the same love, traditions, and stories that shaped his own life. Now, George and Norma embrace the golden chapter of grandparenthood. Bubba and Tamara have 2 children, and family moments have become their greatest treasure. In May 2022, Tamara posted a heartwarming Mother's Day photo of the family, a simple but beautiful reminder of the love that surrounds them. George once shared in an interview that Bubba and Tamara live nearby in Texas, allowing him and Norma to spend precious time with their grandchildren. For George Strait, the man who's sung about heartache, hope, and home for decades, this closeness to family is his greatest reward and the truest legacy of all. The Cowboy's Final Ride. These days, George Strait enjoys the comfort that comes with decades of success and hard-earned legacy. When traveling to Las Vegas, he takes a private jet from Texas and stays at the Mansion, an exclusive retreat nestled beside the luxurious MGM. It's a lifestyle that mirrors his years of dedication, a well-deserved reward for a man who spent his life on the road, now enjoying the peace that comes with slowing down while still entertaining loyal fans around the world. Throughout his journey, George remained largely a solo performer, carving his own path without relying on collaborations. His relentless focus on quality made it nearly impossible for fans and critics to choose a single favorite album. Each one held its own timeless charm. His signature look, the cowboy hat, jeans, and boots, became a symbol of pure country authenticity. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, many rising stars followed his lead, embracing the traditional image he made iconic. With over 120 million records sold across the globe, George Strait's influence is nothing short of historic. He stands among the best-selling artists of all time and holds the RIAA record for the most certified platinum albums by any artist, 33 in total. Add to that 13 multi-platinum and 38 gold records, and it's clear why his name is etched permanently in country music history. Even as time moves on, George maintains a vibrant, active lifestyle. His extensive touring days may be behind him, but his energy remains. He enjoys the simple joys of life, fishing, golfing, and escaping to tropical getaways like the Bahamas and Mexico. Yet even in relaxation, he's never forgotten the importance of giving back. Since 2010, George has served as the spokesman for the Wrangler National Patriot Program, an initiative supporting America's wounded veterans and their families. Deeply connected to the cause, he embraced his role wholeheartedly. Around the same time, he also appeared in commercials for Tractor Supply Company, extending his influence far beyond the stage. Then came the announcement that stunned fans worldwide. On September 26, 2012, George revealed he would retire from touring after one final farewell, the Cowboy Rides Away Tour. The news spread like wildfire, and within days, ticket sales skyrocketed. Everyone wanted to see the King of Country one last time. The tour began on January 18, 2013, in Lubbock, Texas. It spanned 2 phases, 21 concerts in 2013, followed by 26 more in 2014. Strait was joined by his faithful ace in the whole band, and for much of the first leg, Martina McBride opened the show. When the second leg kicked off on January 9, 2014, the momentum only intensified. Each stop featured special guests like Jason Aldean, Eric Church, Miranda Lambert, Vince Gill, and Tim McGraw. The final concert, held on June 7, 2014, at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, was nothing short of monumental. A staggering 104,793 fans filled the venue, setting the record for the largest single headlining act concert in U.S. history. It also became the highest-grossing country concert ever, bringing in over $18 million, and even broke the Rolling Stones' 1981 record for the largest indoor concert. To immortalize that historic night, a live album, The Cowboy Rides Away, Live from a T&T Stadium, was released on September 16, 2014. Later that year, Walmart released a deluxe DVD/CD edition featuring 28 songs across 2 discs and a full 3-hour concert film. Country Music Television also aired George Strait, The Cowboy Rides Away, on August 29th, blending concert highlights with exclusive interviews. Though he retired from full-time touring, Strait didn't stop making music. In 2015, he released Cold Beer Conversation, his first major project in years. The album didn't yield a top 10 hit, a first in his career, but his legacy was already secure. His name had become synonymous with country music excellence. Then, in June 2024, George Strait did the impossible once again. Performing at Kyle Field at Texas A&M University, he broke his own record for the largest concert attendance by a solo artist. An astonishing 110,905 fans gathered, surpassing the record once held by the Grateful Dead since 1977. The event also set a new record for Kyle Field itself, beating the crowd size of any Texas A&M football game in history. Even in this slower chapter of his life, George continues to do what he's always done best: make history. Today, the cowboy may have hung up his touring boots, but his spirit still rides on. Whether breaking records or inspiring generations of artists, George Strait remains proof that true legends never really slow down. They simply find a new rhythm to keep the music alive.